So I was getting into the dinghy and I just got this stinging sensation in my upper back of my upper right thigh. And it hurt like hell, like really startled me. And then I looked behind me. I don't know if you can see under that black line, there's a big centipede or millipede. Hopefully I don't die from this. Holy cow. Talk about getting startled in the morning. Jesus. All right, this is the life. So if you think it's all unicorn farts and rainbows cruising, this is more of what reality is. Almost 11 a.m. day before Easter. Happy Easter. Engine's running well so far. Back on teak. Got the outboard and the dinghy all stowed. Jerry cans lashed. The main is up. And we're motor sailing out of we're motored outside of the bay, so we're departing Nuku Hiva, and I've been going back and forth over going to Upau, which is about 25 miles south of us, or to Rangiroa, which is for like 5 days, 574 nautical miles away. And looks like we've got good wind for a little while, so I think we're going to go ahead and make way towards Rangiroa and just get her done. So we might wind up meeting our friends Paso Doble down there, hopefully. But we're rolling solo right now. Adios, Nuku Hiva! Adios! And adios to the Marquesas! Oh wow, just looked up and saw another boat. Less than a mile away. Holy crap. They're not on AIS or anything. Or at least I didn't pick them up. Look at that. We've got about, we still have 17, 18 knots, which is what we've had all afternoon so far. Coming in an apparent wind angle of about 120, kind of back this way off our port quarter. So we're still reaching with staysail and main. And I've debated, you know, putting the Genoa out and cranking, getting a little bit more speed, but I'm going to be a little bit more conservative here. At this particular moment, 3 out of the 5 weather models that I have a tornado storm warning for the next hour here. And it's just that for that hour. Last night we had pretty much a thunderstorm that lasts all night, so I was dreading that whether we were gonna run into that situation again. It was super unpleasant. I mean, lightning and thunder, winds didn't kick up super hard. I don't think I drug anchor, but I was worried about it being in 75 feet out there. And the bay was just filled with crap. It was all muddy. There was pieces of grass, coconuts everywhere. And actually, for a few miles, actually after you got out of the bay away from the island, there was a bunch of crap there that ran off. So it's about an hour before sunset, and we've got these dark clouds. Looked like they were getting a little lower on us. So this is around the normal time we start getting squalls. Paso Doble, who was about 15 miles ahead of us, said they had one small squall. And being that we're a solo sailor here, we're going to be more conservative with our sail plan. So I proactively put a double reef in the main. So we've double reef and staysail, and we'll probably hang like this for a while. The you know, challenge is it now slows us down to, you know, 4 knots, or give or take a hair under, a hair over. With this 13 knots of wind that we've got. All right, well, at this point we've been spared from the squalls. We're about 15 knots coming across the beam here. 15, 16, true. A little higher. I can point us up just a hair. We're off a few degrees, but we've got both head sails now in double reef. When it's dark out and we're short on hands, if we got overpowered and we had to start cutting lines, we could throw that Genoa sheet and the staysail sheet pretty quickly, and then we could screw around and furl them in, and then double reefed main, we can carry quite a bit of wind with that alone. We'll just while we're up, we'll keep an eye on things and see how we're sailing, but we're making 5.5, 6, 6.5, 5.8. We're making pretty good speed. I'll show this and talk about it in a little bit more detail, but one of the things with Rangiroa or the atolls is that you have to plan your passes through the tides, or you can get into quite a bit of trouble. So someone created a tool called a guesstimator. It's a spreadsheet, so you can put in the island as well as the pass, and it uses a little bit of an offset because there's I think there's a little bit of a delay between high and low tide. So at any rate, you have to time that. There's a tool to help you guess the offsets. So we're changing all of our clocks to Rangiroa time, which is GMT minus 10 hours. So we're getting all our times and everything lined up for our approach. And then we're going to start thinking about trying to time our approach. It looks like we're going to actually get there at this pace. We would get there Wednesday, but the winds are going to die down a little bit. I don't think we're going to get there in time. There's one opportunity around noon on Wednesday, and then another opportunity around 7 a.m. on Thursday. Likely it's going to be the 7 a.m. slot, but we'll see. Sunday evening, about 5:30 p.m. It's a little bit before sunset. We got the usual low-flying clouds here that we start to see and question whether we're going to see any squalls or thunderstorms. The hydrovane's been doing a great job of keeping us on course. My only issue is that this steering, this worm drive is kind of stuck, so I have to do a little bit of work. So I have to reach all the way back here to hit that control knob to steer it, which is more of a nuisance than anything else. I can still kind of reach it. 7 a.m. Monday morning, same tack, still doing our same dizzle. We're about 300 nautical miles now from our waypoint just outside of Rangiroa. Beautiful sun. The seas are a little kind of a little mixed here, which is what we've been experiencing. Winds right now about 15 knots. We're running a little deep for the head sails, which so we've been kind of getting pushed a little bit to port of our course. So we've got wind right now about 120 degrees apparent, which is maybe about as deep as we want to really run with the two head sails up. So I do have the double reefed main. I've not taken the reefs out. The wind is expected to chill out a little bit, so we might go ahead and shake out the reef, and maybe I'll put the Genoa up and we'll do just a little bit deeper course here. .531, just about sunset. So we're motor sailing for about 2 hours for a couple of reasons. One, see these fishing boats over to the left? We want to make sure that we get in front of them. I think they're purse seiners, not longliners, but I don't know for sure. So we wanted to put a little bit of heat and try and get in front of them. The other thing is we had about half the battery banks down, and we're going to charge batteries for a couple of hours. So we've been running for 1 hour. We'll run for 1 hour more, keep it under 1800 RPMs. And I just checked the vacuum gauge on the fuel filter, the Raycor, and it's showing 0 vacuum, which is excellent. That's exactly what we want to see. Super happy. That tells us that 100% of the problem that we had from the fuel pickup was from that constricted bulb with the little tiny piece of Teflon tape blocking it. All right, well, we've confirmed that the prop is fouled with discarded fishing gear. If there's anything we can do about it tonight, we'll have to inspect in the morning. I think the only way to clear this is going to be to dive it and try and cut it free in the open water. All right, we're going to take some surveys of the carnage here. My footage of the dive to clear the prop was corrupted, but I'll tell you briefly what I did is I prepared with basically a hookah, snorkel mask, fins, my shorty wetsuit with a weight belt to try and get my buoyancy balanced, a tether so when I went overboard, basically what I did was I dropped the sails and basically just light a hull while the boat was drifting in about almost 2-meter seas while the boat's pitching around a little bit. And it took me several dives to get under the boat to get the prop cleared. Finally got it cleared. Was really nervous about doing this operation solo, especially with the boat bouncing around. And trying to get under the boat and all of that, but I was able to get it cut free. I guess maybe it was nerve-wracking enough that I don't need to see the footage one more time, but I'm sorry I don't have it to share with you. All right, it's Tuesday evening. We're still headed to Rangiroa. Beautiful evening. You can see some clouds. It's really dumping over there. We've got about 14 knots right now, so with some of this convection you get at the end of the day, you get a little bit of wind. No squalls on top of us or anything like that, so we'll adjust with sails if we need to. Yeah, for the first time, since morning, since we cleared all this nonsense here off the prop, we've been motoring all day and just wanted to give it a rest. And we got this nice little bit of breeze coming right off the port beam, which is super nice. So we're going just as fast as we were, if not a tick higher, under sail alone. So we'll ride this as long as we can. I think it's going to be fairly short-lived. Maybe we'll just have it for an hour or two. Then we'll fire the engine back up, but we'll take what we can get. 9 a.m. Wednesday. We've been motor sailing all night. We are 77 nautical miles from Rangiroa. And look at this water. I hope this shows up well. This is the bluest water. It's unbelievable. And we're in some depth here too, so it's not like we're in shallow water. But just love this blue color of the water. We're gonna finish this charging run. We'll probably run for about another hour. Get us to our noon check-in, which is actually noon position update is just 10 a.m. local time. So I'll do the noon position report, and then after that, kill the engine for a little bit, and we're just gonna slow sail in about 9.5 knots of true wind. So most of it's behind us. So we're gonna crawl for a little bit and just try and relax. And we might use that as a little bit of a nap break. All right, it's 10 after 9 a.m. and we got this 11 knots coming right across the beam. So I thought I'd go ahead and shut off the engine and just enjoy it a little bit. We're on our nice little bed here of ghost net, just chilling out, and we're making 5.5 knots or so, which is 6 faster than we need to go. So we'll enjoy this for a little while, and then at some point, who knows, we may reduce sail a little bit and just start drifting a little bit slower so we don't get there way too early. All right, back on my my ghost net perch here, playing a little bit of, it's getting warm out, playing a little bit of hide from the sun. It's kind of like hide the salami, except the sun's the salami. 5:40 a.m. Thursday, just a hair before sunrise, and we are about 7 nautical miles from Rangiroa, closing in. Beautiful. We're just creeping up like a Chester. We're gonna wait for some more daylight. 7:27 is what the guesstimator's telling me on low tide. I'm hearing there's more of a delay, but I'm getting a lot of conflicting information. So we're gonna creep up. We're gonna inspect it and see what the pass looks like when we get a little bit more light, and then we'll make a decision on when we're gonna send it from there. We're a little bit over a mile from Inventory Pass. From this angle, it looks like there's some breakers out there coming across, but what my friends on Paso Doble told me was that they saw waves on both sides, but they actually had clear water in between. So we're gonna go a little bit further, and we're gonna kind of line up with the pass a little bit more squarely, and then we'll sneak in, get a little closer, and inspect the conditions. It's really hard to tell from here, but it looks to me like there's water breaking all the way across. And if it's a delayed low tide, there'd still be water coming out, and the waves are, you know, kind of going this way, so that would make sense. Yeah, we got a little turbulence here. All right, too much turbulence for me. I bailed out. We're gonna wait, let her settle down a little bit more. Aqualuna, 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 sailing vessel Keeldragger, sailing vessel Keeldragger, sailing vessel Keeldragger, hailing you on 16.
Hello Keeldragger, this is Aqualuna, over.
Hi, good morning. Just saw that you came out of the pass. I was curious if what kind of currents you were seeing as you were coming out, over.
Hi there, we estimated it was about 4 knots, over.
Okay, copy that, 4 knots. Do you know when the expected low slack tide is this morning?
Well, according to the guesstimator, it was maybe around 30 minutes ago, but we spoke to a dive school, and if we go with what they said, then we think that slack water would be around 9:30, over.
Okay, copy that. I was going by the guesstimator as well. It's definitely not slack. 4 knots is a little bit much for me, so I'm going to go ahead and wait her out a little bit.
Yeah, I think if we were you, we probably would also do that. Over.
Copy that. Well, I appreciate the information. Have a good voyage to wherever you're headed. Keeldragger standing by on 16.
Okay, good to talk to you, Keeldragger. Aquilina standing by. Out.
We're going to wait for close to 2 hours out here and give it another shot. So we'll take it closer to it's 7:34 right now. We're going to take it closer to 9:30 and see how that works. All right, we're going to time this for a little bit after 9:30, which should give us maybe just a little bit of inflow, not much current, if we're lucky. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. All right, take 2. A little nervous. 6-4. Might have the tide going with us now. We'll see. 5-9. 4-3. 2,400 RPMs, give it a little more. Well, we're still pushing up against 3 knots, but we made it through and there weren't any standing waves. It was easier than it was a couple of hours ago. Still a little bit of pucker factor, but we made it. We're in. The pucker factor. I'm still only doing 3.7 knots here, so I'm still fighting current ahead of me. I've got 4 miles to go. So there's another pass down this way, so maybe at some point it'll balance out a little bit. But we're in, and I'm relieved. Next step is going to be to try and figure out how to anchor. Talk about a passage, hard fought. That was a tough one for only 5 days and I don't know, a little under 600 miles, 575, whatever it comes out to. We'll look at the numbers. But the control knob seized on the hydrovane, and then the knob that keeps the vane actually attached, the wind vane portion, broke. And then at the same time I was dealing with that and getting ready to put my autopilot, the electronic one, in action, it was malfunctioning because of the mechanical connect came loose. That was easy to fix. I had to climb in the lazarette and I'm bouncing around. And then later that same evening at night, I ran into a ghost net, fouled my prop. The next morning I got up and cleared that, but it was in a little bit of bumpy seas, and so the boat was moving around a lot, so I had to jump out solo and clear all that, and that was just an absolute mess. And then after that, you know, this last day or so, once we got that cleared, was super chill. We took our time last night and kind of perfectly executed our plan to get here around 7:30, which was what the guesstimator was saying was low slack tide. Completely wrong. The dive shop said 9:20, and so we decided to wait a couple of hours. A little after 9:30 came in, still had 3.5 knots. So the first attempt we had 4 knots before I turned around, and pretty bumpy waters, and I bailed on it. The second attempt, 3.5 knots, and I went through it. There weren't any standing waves or anything. Still turbulent, but we made it in all right. And then look at this beautiful, God, this place is gorgeous. You can hear the Tahiti Polynesian drums going off. We don't have appropriate pearl buoys to float our chain, but there's coral bommies underneath, and we're in about 50 feet of water. So we have 3. You can only see 2 of them. Problem is they collapse underwater. I know, you know, the fenders are not ideal, but they're better than nothing. So we've got fenders on tethers clipped to the chain, so we can unclip them fairly easily. And you can see these 2 here in a row. We've got couple hundred feet out. So we're at about a 4-to-1. I could put another 50 feet out pretty easily. I'd be a little bit more comfortable if I did that. But this is Rangiroa, folks, and we made it. Single-handed passage. I already had my beer. I didn't even record Captain's Hour, but trust me, it was delicious. And next up's gonna be a delicious nap.